I mean,
And
mobile games, if you look at the stats on mobile games, the money made is insane.
Yeah.
But not that I'm not a mobile guy, but I just
Nick
know
said
that I am not a
Microsoft is kind of killing it this generation. Like, if you exclude mobile, this is a platform, and this is where more people are than anywhere else. So I think, and we don't know that it's just going to be a few. We are presuming that it's just going to be a few games that they are putting on other platforms. They may be thinking it's several. I don't know what their thoughts are. I think that's something that maybe, Phil Adam can elaborate when he feels it's an appropriate point to talk about what their plan is moving forward with some of these promises or some of these expectations that have been set in the past, where they are with all of those. Because there's some things like exclusives. I saw a Potion Sword Run say well, nothing's going to be exclusive. I don't think anyone anywhere it's been said that nothing is going to be exclusive. What I was talking about and what some others were talking about is the fact that they are no longer keeping that word of the exclusivity clause. And I think, for me, I understand, because they are in a bind. And when you are in a bind, you can't be hardline. If you stay hard and you don't adapt, you die. So if they are in a bind and staying exclusive means they're not going to make revenue from these games that they would elsewhere, then yes, I could see taking license deals to put those games elsewhere, bring in money, spend money to...
Even though those license deals are just not going to happen if you'd actually done a little bit of research like I did. When not the Amico Forever Part 1 video, but when I went over a few days ago over Phil Adams' thing, was that like Wednesday last week? The email from Phil Adams, and I just proved that it was bunkum completely.
Finish those games that are going to be on the Amico.
You got 120 classic IPs that if you license out, because obviously that
may not all make it to the Amico.
Right.
It's true.
Right, and then you got 125 classic IPs, and some of those bigger ones you could go, you know what? We put this out. We'll put it on Amico, but we're going to multi-platform this too, because we're going to get so much revenue from this.
It's just funny this, but cause I've heard all this before, and just when I heard him say how DJC's brain works, he seems to think that Intellivision, as they are now, will have all the rights to these 125 games that came out 40 years ago, and they're going to take all the original games and put them all out again on. I mean, they're already done to death on compilation consoles, mini consoles, and so on, and mini compilations for PS2 and so on. And DJC seems to think that Intellivision are going to take every single one of these games, put them all out on new physical versions for the Amico, and for other platforms, and it'll be, whether it's physical or digital, he seems to think they'll just be able to sell them all again to everybody 40 years on, even though you can get them all on ROMs on whatever website you choose. But no, DJC seems to think they'll make an absolute fucking fortune out of it. Apart from the fact they haven't got the rights in the first place. He's so fucking deluded.
And we have so many other games that'll be exclusive on there. Haunted Wisp says exclusives are important. I bought an Xbox for Joe Jam and Earl 3. It also stung when Rez came out for PS2, but not PC.
Yeah. Exclusives completely
Controller matter. Is the exclusive. I agree. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk.
Yeah. No, exclusives matter, and I think you guys are raising great points about that is the rationale for why you buy the system. If they don't have some exclusives, there probably is no rationale for buying the system. You can do some of that stuff elsewhere, and yes, you can't do everything quite the same way. The controller is an experience that is, meaningful to some of us. It won't be meaningful to everybody. They have to make really interesting games that fully utilize some of that stuff that controller can do too. And that is something I hope to see with their next phase of releasing stuff. I don't think they're there yet. I think some of the games that they've released are, they've got a shooter like Flying Tigers. I didn't see anything unique using that controller to play Flying Tigers. I didn't play it very much. So there may be stuff I'm not aware of. But
I just like the control for that.
My hope is that they can incorporate something with the screen. They can incorporate more stuff with motion control and stuff like that on different games. But I don't think they're there yet, and I think they have too much to focus with getting this out.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of games that make use of the speaker and the touchscreen itself. Like, I think Bomb Squad will probably make a good use of the touchscreen if they ever, get closer to showing us more on that one. Because we've only seen, a very little bit about that.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen it. So, I mean, we've seen, but we haven't seen the gameplay. But knowing from the original Bomb Squad and everything that they listed that would be incorporated, it's a nice concept. I could see where they would go with something like that.
Even though, excuse me, even though all they put out for Bomb Squad was just a fucking demo, and these guys have got it in their head that it's a fully functioning game. Like all the other things, where we've only seen a bit of a demo, that's all there is. Or in case of Earthworm Jim 4, just a little graphic going back and forth. That's all there is. Yeah, and they've got it in their heads that there's a big fucking massive game just waiting to be released.
See where they would go with something like that for Safecracker. So I'd look forward to seeing some of that stuff.
Like emoji charades, I think would be fairly difficult to transfer to anything else unless you could do some sort of setup where you could use your cell phone, right? And they did that as a temporary workaround.
No, I think I talked about charades, in part 1 because I was talking about charades. No one's gonna pay money for fucking charades. You can wave your hand about with friends and play charades, or you can just drink alcohol and chat about other things, or play a lot better games. No one's playing fucking charades on this thing. Who's gonna pay $400 for for a console and money for emoji charades? Well, apart from Exhibit A, B, and C here.
At the event that we were at in Philly, but it still had to connect to the console, right? So you used your cell phone to connect to the console.
You're talking about the emoji charades. That's the one that blew me away. How fun! I was like, why would I want to play a mobile game off a console off? And it was it was a crowd
because there's so few mobile games that bring a crowd. It's just not an experience.
I think it wasn't a crowd. I think it was just the police came around to take you away.
They do exist.
Controlling this and displaying it, basically using the unit to display it on TVs, was just. I thought that was pretty genius, and I know there's stuff that could, whatever. I really enjoyed. It was something like it was like I could care less about emoji charades. This looks weird. This looks stupid in my head, And I'm not going to be trash talking. I'm going to go up there, and it ended up being one of my the one I was like, I want that because my family is super competitive. They love playing all these type of games, where it be a board game, a drinking game, a quarters, this, that, the other thing. They want it trivia. They want to be competitive and have a group to play it. That's a perfect type of game for a bar, for a party, for just anything. It blew me away how something so simple, the simplest game ever, could be fun.
Yeah. And I was in the same boat as you. I wasn't really interested in it until I played it with a group of people, and I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. This makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Tari Creep says, exclusives was a big seller to me. Not sure where I stand on it. Not sure I feel on it. But like I said, it's only a couple.
The way you can stand on it, Atari Creep, is start by standing in the bathroom and shave that fucking beard off.
Only a couple IPs out of hundreds of IPs. Especially the new, there's even newer stuff. So if that's going to keep them going strong, to keep having more games come in and give them longevity for 3 to 5 years, out of this console, I'd be super happy about that. Then going, hey, we shipped our founders and this is it. I don't want that. I want longevity. And I think when everybody sees Phil and he does these updates and going, why isn't this happening or why is it taking so long? They're looking for longevity, man. You don't want to get this console and have it be a paperweight after you play the 12 to 20 games. You want to have longevity and new content coming in, new stuff in the store. And I think that's where they're trying. They're thinking big picture. They're not thinking of right now. They're still thinking big picture, and they want this. They're passionate about getting this out. And I think, and people don't think they are.
They're not passionate. They're not very passionate about taking more of your money. I just can't keep repeating myself again. Go on, I will do. I'm sorry, you really are just thick. You're not an intelligent man, and you prove it time and time again. You still think this is coming out. It's just beyond ridiculous.
But they really are, because why would they keep at it? You don't
Just to get more money out of you, you thick fuck.
Don't you think at this point they'd be like, oh, let's just go. We got the money. It isn't about that. That money went all for development.
Yeah, they took $17 million all for development on those games that never came out. The games that they're still working on after 4 to 5 years. Games which Gatoru's managed to make in a day. For every single one, was it a skiing game and a Astro Smash kind of game? Did he make Astro Trash? That might have been someone else. But he's made a few games. And they're all absolute genius, and they can prove that you can just do them in a day. These guys, fuck me. Yeah, but I don't want them to fuck me, obviously, but it's just sad.
They've got the thing. They either made bad decisions or the pandemic, the chip shortages, whatever you want to blame it on. They're here where they are right now, and they're trying their best because this really is a passion project, and they want to release this console, and they're not stopping until they do. And until they go,
not stopping until they do.
Hey, we just can't do it. Then sure, I'll be like, you know what? That really sucks for everyone that bought and put money into this.
Like the thousands of dollars you put into Fig and Republic.
But if they do come out, I'm absolutely 100% rooting that they do, because I want all these people that loved this dream and loved this idea to get to play these games and have fun. And that's why I support it.
I'm a little frustrated at they just want to take the money and run. They have a board of directors. These are professionals who they are there to oversee. Their interests is not just the interest of, Tommy, not just the interest of Phil. They
missed a comment. No, hang on. I guess that happens when a company changes a CEO. The company style and promises change as well. A lot of people invested in Tommy Talarico himself, but according to them, he's still involved. So that, as I said before, that should not change.
Tommy, not just the interest of Phil. They represent the investors. They represent the company. They are answerable if this goes under, or if there is a scam, if there is corruption, if someone is stealing from the pot,
all of them.
It's on them to oversee. I mean, that is why they are installed. So I don't know. I think a lot of people can kind of get carried away in some of where these stories go, and you need to stop and think a little bit about.
Oh my God! Look at that. When I first to listen to this, I'm mostly just listening to it. I'm not actually looking at the video, and then when I play it back and make these videos, I'm then actually looking at the pictures. So Mickey Phantom says Phil is a stickler for sorry, I'll get my words out. It's very late as I'm recording this. I intended to do it earlier today, i.e. the Sunday, and I recorded it for a while up until about sort of 10:20, and then there was a Stuart Lee special on BBC Two. And apart from that, I got distracted with other things, and so it was about 12:15 when I started getting back into it. And now I'm got a little way to go on this, and it's just coming up to 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Phil is a stickler for stability. Now just watch DJC's motions now.
What else could possibly go on other than the story that we're kind of building on and want to build on because it's entertaining?
Yeah, it's
hang on.
What these stories go, and you need to stop and think.
There we go. Phil is a stickler for stability, and he's just like motioning. Yeah, right on. That is how brainwashed this fucking idiot is.
A little bit about what else could possibly go on other than the story that we're kind of building on and want to build on because it's entertaining.
Yeah, it's
because it's.
I'm glad Intellivision is still fighting. Amico Forever. Prayer emoji. Anyone who prays, you're praying to a god or something similar up in the clouds. I'm sorry to drop some bad news on you, but any sort of god you're praying to, you're fucking wasting your time because they don't fucking exist. Okay? You are wasting your time. You've got more chance of praying to Jennifer Aniston. She isn't going to solve your problems any more than a fake god in the clouds is going to. So stop praying because you're fucking wasting your time.
Entertaining.
Yeah, it is entertaining. Thank you.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's everybody can have their opinion. At this point, what has it been like 2, 3, 4 years? I mean, since the whole incarnation of this, it's been
it's been
2018.
A while.
But I'm like,
I
think everybody has their stands on how they're going to react to nudes now. The people are either going to get super angry.
React to nudes?
Everybody has their stands on how they're going to react to nudes now.
React to nudes? Interesting.
The people are either going to get super angry, hate them, hate the change in leadership, or whatever the reason is. But it comes down,
it's not going to change until the system is out and
the system needs to come out, and we need a person to get it out, and I really do believe Phil's that person to do that, man. I really think.
Yeah.
I really believe Phil is a person to bring out the console. The man who faked everyone with the Coleco Chameleon. You really think Phil's the man for the job for the Amico? Fuck off.
He's a 100% no BS. Is only going to put money. Only going to put an update out when it has absolute relevance. Sorry.
Oh God, gaslit. He'll only put an update out when he thinks he can sort of string you guys along a bit more to sort of put some good word out and get some more money coming in.
And just, I really hope, I'm hoping for the people that want this. I'm not hoping because I'm like, oh man, I hope that, like people just think like it's this whole scam or I'm trying to promote. I'm not trying to promote anything, man. I have not made a cent off of this. If anything, I put money into all of this.
Because you're deluded.
And I'm just a fan, man. Would I love to be an Intellivision employee? Absolutely, man. Hey, if they get up and going, I'm going to be like, hey, man, remember me? No.
God, they would not employ you at all. As soon as, well, they won't be opening up again anyway, but even if they did, they would distance from you as much as possible.
But I'm saying, like, I support it because I love what they did. I love what I played, and that's why. I don't know why I keep trying to verify that, but it's just I know a lot of people keep because it's the comments every day,
Yeah.
But it's mostly I'm fighting and supporting it for the people that spent money on pre-orders in these games so they get to play them.
They haven't spent money on games. They spent money on bits of cardboard. They don't have any games. They have the promise of games, but they don't have any games coming anytime soon. And
let alone have the experience we had,
So you are rallying for the people who have,
I'm rallying for the people that put money into it and
money into this.
Yeah.
Just a quick heads up. We're on 57:51 on the timestamp on their video now. Yes, it does go on to 1:23. I get up to about listening to what I listen to. Well, I listen to the whole thing. I get up to about 1 hour and 8 minutes. So about another 10 minutes of DJC time. That is about as far as I go with this. And I'll explain why when we get to it.
Absolutely. Let's see, what's this? Mr. Warrior. Sorry if this hasn't been addressed or join in. Why didn't Film announce they came upon the firmware issue the moment it occurred, just to keep the folks in the know? And I think he just, that's what I was just kind of talking about. You guys can answer if you want. Go ahead.
You don't announce this and not have a solution. What is your next announcement?
You want a solution. You don't want to be like
4 weeks if it's not resolved.
Well, he's not going to give you any bad news, is he? Well, but then they think. But then these people believe that there is a problem they've only just found out after 4 to 5 years of development. It's only just come to light, and they think he has a solution already. When there hasn't been a problem or a solution, he's just fucking put out more waffle, and they fucking believed it.
And that goes for. Again, to go back to the whole corporate environment, you don't generally go to your boss.
Master Sissy Marceau, don't worry about the troll channels. They have nothing else to do. God, how does Canadian Gamer tolerate you? I don't know.
Boss or your boss's boss and go, hey, I found this broke thing here. You try to come at them with some sort of semblance of idea of how to fix it, and ideally with a solution. And if you're going to...
I don't think Tommy Talarico is hiding. I think he's healing. Fuck off. My dad died in 2015. Sure, it's absolutely shit. My mum died last year, as I've said before in this video. It's absolutely shit. And yes, you end up in a funk for quite a while. But, what sort of helps you out of the funk to a degree is by I mean, we had the pandemic for a lot of the time. Getting back into work and seeing people there and chatting to them, and that's a big help. I mean, the one thing I sort of realised, because I was only off for a week after my dad died, then I was back in the office, whereas my mum died in the middle of all this palaver. But yeah, as soon as I went back into the office after my dad died, I realised just how many other people had suffered the loss of a parent, and that sort of helped me get back into things. Now, Tommy Talarico's well over 50, and so are all the people he's been working with, working in the loosest sense, and they all they're all there 600 years of experience. So the first thing you would do is you'd go back into the office after, you take a week or two off, and then you go back into the office and you'd realise how many other people are in the same boat, and that would help you heal. And Tommy Talarico's dad died well over 6 months ago, so he would have got well into that. He'd have overcome that. Well, not overcome, but he'd have taken those steps a long time ago, well over 6 months ago. And he's not sitting home healing, Mike Garcia. He's been out. He's fucked all this shit off, and he's gone on fucking tour with his video games live bullshit. Sap.
Do a public notice. You generally want to go, hey, we ran into this. This delayed us a little bit. However, we fixed it, and it's fine.
Look at that, DJC. Just quickly, hang on. I don't think he's hiding his healing. Hang on.
Do a public notice. You generally want to go, hey, we ran into this. This delayed us a little bit.
So this is something I didn't catch when I only just listened to it. Peter McNabb, he's put this up, and then look how quickly he gets rid of it. Tommy is hiding. Not impressive. DJC thinks, oh, that's a negative on talk about Tommy. Let's get rid of it. So I'll just wind back a bit. Then you just watch how quickly it disappears.
You generally want to go, hey, we ran into this. This delayed us a little bit. However, we fixed it, and it's fine now. We're just explaining it to you so that you know that this slowed us down a little bit. That way you know the timeline shifted because of this reason, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and you normally give this level of detail. It is a little unusual, but I think Intellivision's situation is a little more unusual than you typically see with
just another viewer says
the delays and the public involvement.
Intellivision in general has been way more transparent than I'm used to almost any company being.
Well, they've been transparent in certain ways. They've
Too
been
much, almost,
non-transparent in other ways.
Yeah.
So I think you can look at this from different angles, and you can say they're not transparent at all. They're not telling you their numbers. They're not telling you what their finances are. Like, no, they're not going to. Nobody does that.
We know what the finances are. Fucking $10 million in debt, if not more.
I feel like they're almost too transparent for any company, though.
But they definitely.
They were trying to be in with the retro community and kind of let people know the progress. And this is this every 2 seconds. Because when Tommy was doing that, man,
they're trying to get money out of you, and it worked.
Every other week, are we getting something? We getting something? And he was putting stuff out because he was so passionate about it.
Passionate.
Now it's like they're just like, we need to get this out. We need to lock down and do this,
Oh yeah.
And Phil's like he said, he's not going to put anything out unless it's something relevant. He's not going to be like, hey, we've been working on this bug, but I guess we'll let you know how it goes. No, he's going to be like, hey, we found this bug, we worked on it, we fixed it.
Good news, everybody. They're not fixed diddly squat.
This is what's happening. So I just want to address this. If you're rallying for me, can you get me on the list of the 25? Hey, I want to be on the list of the 25 consoles going out. If anything,
I think we all do at this.
No production consoles are going out.
We all
I think everybody. I think even people that really don't want the console to succeed would like to get their hands on it just to play around with it, or maybe do something towards to it. Whatever. It depends.
I would
on
be
how
more
you
than
feel
happy
like
to get a console and have an event and let people. I just want people to play it like I did, man. It was just fun. Oh, that's not cool, but. I miss
like
Tommy.
Phil.
Tommy's
He's
awesome,
nice.
but Phil's doing a good job.
Phil's doing a good job.
Really
that is true. That is true. Phil is boring, and I think Phil will tell you boring. He's interesting.
He's a good.
I feel like he's boring.
Phil will bring the money. What?
And I think Phil will tell you boring. He's interesting.
He's a good.
I feel like he's boring.
Phil will bring the money. Yeah, he kept it all for himself.
Tommy is extrovert. Tommy is silly. Tommy will do goofy stuff and make a video and commercial about it and make it fun, or make it, he's an absurd clown. Depends on your viewpoint. They're different people. I think Phil, as much as I love what Tommy's brought as far as the vision, I don't think others would have brought Intellivision in this direction. So I think there is a debt of gratitude for anyone who doesn't want to see Intellivision just go away the way of the dodo as people age out of having played Intellivision in 79 and the 80s and early 90s. Tommy's given it a second life, a second chance for a new generation to know the Intellivision name. And right now it's a bad name, but if they can get out the system, that can be changed. That being, it's a bad name.
Up. Mickey Phantom. Intellivision is losing. Well, in fact, there's no double O. It's just a single O. Intellivision is losing. Tommy never loses. We need Tommy back to win.
But if they can get out the system, that can be changed. That being said, I don't think Tommy went into this thinking, I'm going to be a CEO.
A more closed-lip approach was needed, yeah, because they closed lips. So, not saying anything because they've taken all your money and fucked off.
I'm going to run the company. I'm going to do all that. So maybe he did, but I don't think that was necessarily his skill set. I think Phil may have a good skill set for where Intellivision is, at least right now. Phil can make those decisions and do some of those things that maybe Tommy wears his heart on his sleeves, and he may not be the person to make those decisions. It's very hard to fire somebody. I know.
So Rab's just being a load of boring twat. Maybe I don't get to 108. I don't know, because this the bits I'm going to be sort of glossing over is coming up very soon. Excuse me. Oh, voice is gone. Don't know how long this video is going to go on for. But excuse me. Yes, Stu May says the fact that the Amico is going to be an anti-consumer DRM-laden system does sadden me. Tapping your physical game and then the system sending a signal to the server to download is horrendous. Yeah, I mean, it should just be a cartridge, like we were told there would be, or like some sort of physical media, even if it's just putting on an SD card, like with the ZX Spectrum Next, and with this, I think the Switch do that. Switch, I don't know. I've got a Switch. If you can get cartridges into the Switch, I've no idea where they bloody go. I've only ever downloaded games onto that thing. But yeah, I'm just looking at it now. I don't know what. It's still in its dock though. I have no idea where they would go. Maybe there's somewhere for it. I've never really investigated it. But you can put, an SD card in it, like the ZX Spectrum Next. You can put things on the SD cards and just shove it in, and away you go. But yeah, there's no physical cartridge on products on Amico. But yeah, so it's got DRM. So only one. You can't just sort of put it on all the put one game on all consoles, and just have them keep that game.
Alan Bushnell has said in interviews, if the one thing he could take back about what he's done with Atari, he would have went and fired a lot of people beforehand. When they were going under, when they thought they were going under in like 1974, and people were cloning their systems and everything was going to hell, he held on to too many people too long and basically lost control of the company, is what he felt. So I can see Tommy as the visionary, Tommy as the creative, and I don't think that is what Intellivision needs at this point to survive and thrive. They do need that aspect, but it's you get something special with everybody, and you lose a bit with everybody too.
Yeah, just to answer, there's a bunch of where's Tommy, where's this? Tommy's still president. He's just taking personal time, right?
Taking personal time. 7-8 months on. Fucking bullshit. He's fucked off, you wankers.
Now,
president and chief creative officer.
Yeah, he still works for the company. He's still a big part of their success on the company. And honestly, Tommy and Phil have two very different styles. So
but enough of their waffle. DJC and company, what are your thoughts about DRM on the Amico? DRM, digital rights management, is it? I don't know without looking it up. But yeah, so basically, as I said before, so you can only have the one game on the one console at a time. So you can't just take it over to your friend's house, like if you had a physical product. You could take an Atari cartridge over to my friend's house, play play the game with them for the afternoon. But I couldn't play that at home because the cartridge was at their house. Of course, at the same time, I was at their house, so that didn't really matter. But yeah, no one else at my house could play that same game because I had it at my friend's house. Whereas if you've downloaded a ROM, the same thing is going to be supposed to be with the Amico, that you can only play the game at your friend's house while you've tapped the card on your friend's system, and it's downloaded onto their system. So you can't. Yeah, if anyone was still in your house and they had your Amico, they couldn't play that game because you've transferred ownership effectively for a while over to your friend's house. Compared to if you just downloaded any emulator game ROM now, you could have that on your PC at home, take a copy over with you to your friend's house, and then you could be playing it over at your friend's house while anyone in your house is still playing with it on your PC. So you'd both be playing the same game at any time, but the DRM stops that from happening. That's in theory. Of course, Tommy was saying we'd have NFTs and all that bullshit. So it's just all. They never even showed us the game downloading, so the whole point is moot. It's never going to happen. But that is the theory about it. Anyway, that is the sort of DRM in a nutshell. Because there's a cracker of a question coming up.
Tommy grew up being a musician and an entertainer. Phil is very much the kind of guy that kind of has rubber to the road. I'm the kind of person that brings things in. I'm the one that kind of does the deals. I sit in the background. I may not be flashy, but I kind of work in the background to get things done. You may not always hear much from me, but I'm always working on something.
No, yeah. Still working on something. He's working on fuck all.
And Tommy hasn't taken a paycheck, I think, in a bit, hasn't he?
They're still paying Tommy. He's made his millions and he's fucked off. They've all fucked off. That's why they closed the offices. And now they're all laughing at you because you still think they're still working on this console. They've closed all the offices. They've got rid of all the staff. Who do you think is still putting this console together? Do you think Phil's sitting at home doing it by hand? Where do you think it's being done? Answer those questions.
I don't know how many people
put money in. You put more money in than anything. I
covered that earlier. Yeah, DJC thinks Tommy put more money into this than he took out. Fuck off.
I think you could say that for a lot of people in the company, that they put a lot more money in than they have gotten out.
They are invested in this and not necessarily money as much as they are stock. So they are invested in seeing it through, not just kind of taking the money and run.
Stu Mays says, DJC and Company, what are your thoughts about DRM on the Amico? What is DRM? Because I'm
digital rights management.
So that is a fucking hilarious question. Let's just hear that one again.
Mays says, DJC and Company, what are your thoughts about DRM on the Amico? What is DRM?
So, sorry, Stu's question isn't hilarious. DJC's question, what is DRM? He's supposed to be, we know he's not the brightest tool in the box. Sorry, I thought my video, watching their video would go up to 108. It's 104. He really has, he's so uneducated. He doesn't even know what DRM is. I mean, I've just explained it in a nutshell off the top of my head. He hasn't even got a single idea what it is. And now at this point, so for the rest of the video pretty much, we just get lots of rambling with Rab acting like he knows the ins and outs of how Amico DRM will work, just so you can get the game, as I said, just so you can get the game on his system and not be on anyone else's simultaneously. And as I said before, even though no one else has seen this work, because it doesn't exist, and that Tommy and Phil gaslit them, so these three all think they're still the Amico News Authority. And it's just funny, Rab. I mean, if you want to listen to Rab waffle for 20 minutes almost, talking about how the ins and outs of how Amico DRM will work, making it shit up off the top of his head. It's fucking hilarious, and it's also rather sad. But we're pretty much done with that. Now the thing, excuse me. The only other thing I did want to check, if I can just pick it up at the end, how the poll ended, because I thought the poll ended up in someone else, in DJC's favour, and someone else pointed out in the comments on my last video, part 1 video, that the pole backfired in his face. So yeah, I'm just going to skip to where I find the pole, and we'll reconvene in a moment. Okay, so this is the part with the pole. I finally found it because I realised DJC wants to skirt over it. So I just looked it up on my old video, on my part 1 video. Andrew VRBA said my absolute favourite part of his stream was how the pole blew up in his face. Devastated lost cause, was dumb enough to post a poll asking viewers what their opinion of the Amico news was, and the majority of his viewer base chose the option for I'll believe it when I see it. He unceremoniously ended the poll early, just pretended it ever happened. What a pant load. His own viewers reject the false reality he's trying to weave. And I said I must have forgotten the ending with that. I just thought he made it sound in his favour. It was very late when I made this video, the part 1 video, and also the same for part 2. Andrew replied he's bought so much of his own hype that he can't tell what's real and what isn't anymore. And I realised the reason why I think that DJC, why it ended in his favour, is because of the way he phrases it. So yeah, the answer he chose, well, the answer that was still as earlier on, that was still 60% in favour of this option, and not in favour of the Amico. It was still 60% before and 60% now for the option. I'll believe it when I see it. But just listen to the way DJC phrases it. That's why it confused me.
Well, with that being said, I did end our poll, and it was 60. I think it was like almost 60%. When we see an Amico, that's what we want to see. Basically, they want to see these units. So
just say that again.
When we see an Amico, that's what we want to see.
When we see an Amico, that's just what we want to see. So he sounds like everyone's saying, "I'm looking." He makes it sound like everyone's looking forward to their Amico. When he's just changed the words around, when it was actually "I'll believe it when I see it." So he's full of fucking shit. Now, this is going to end up another bloody long video. Do I split it up into 2, so we have parts 2 and 3, and I can put them out on Monday and Tuesday, or do I put them all into one? I'll see when I finish this last little bit. It may be that if it ends up being 2 videos, so part 2 and part 3, I will specify that in the video description. But yeah, I'll see, because if it's way too long, then no one's going to stick all the way through to the end. So I may split it up over Monday and Tuesday. I will see in a moment. It's looking like that way, especially since it's going to take, if it's well over an hour anyway as a video. As I'm finishing this off now, it's 1:20 in the morning. I do want to go to bed at some point. So that's why I might have to split it into 2. So to sort of have time to render one now and render the other one in the morning. So there we go. Anyways, if part 2, if this is part 2 and part 3, and part 2 just sort of ends in the middle somewhere, we'll put a caption up. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But it is what it is. It's a bloody long video, and there was a lot of Amico chat in this one. A lot more than any other one I've covered. Anyways, this final bit will be at the end of part 3. So in the meantime, please like this video. Thanks very much. I've lost my train of thought now. But thanks for watching anyway. Please comment. Please like the video, subscribe. Click on the bell for all, click on the bell for all the Amicos. Sorry, click on the bell for all the notifications. Oh, time for bed. Not yet, until I've rendered this video. Cue Genesis.